Hey, welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore different scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
And I'm a Sigma who's mogging you.
Shit, you are. I'm like subhuman right now.
Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast. I'm Kaya.
Little teaser for our topic today.
What's been your scene lately, Den?
Okay, this is from my friend Sophie, huge scenester sister. Shout out. I know she's listening.
Shout out, Sophie.
She put me on to the phrase "be your own butler," and I'm really into it.
So what is be your own butler? Well, can I guess?
Yeah.
My guess is that it's kind of like a more grown up and also more like antique version of like when people used to be like taking care of like my future drunk self and they put a cup of water by the bed before going out. Like it's like
exactly.
That's it. Yeah. It's
or
like self-care.
Making your bed for yourself to come home to, or cleaning your apartment before you go on a trip. I honestly haven't changed any of my behaviors since learning this. I was already doing all of this, but I like saying it to myself when I do it.
You were already your own butler.
I was already my own butler.
Yeah,
I think I'm
finally
really good
you're
about
getting
this.
some credit. Your butler's like, God, I've been working for 20 years with never any acknowledgement or recognition. You're good at it.
My butler's hoping for a big holiday bonus from myself.
She's finally noticing me.
And I think the other things that I do to be my own butler are like in how I prepare food. Like I am very willing to dirty extra dishes to eat like out of the dishes that I want to eat out of and have a nice dining experience.
Right, like the madam must have her dinner on a serving plate. That's you as you're
like I'm not
dinner.
microwaving something in the container and eating it in the container. I'm plating it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not always so good at being my own butler, I would say. So maybe I'll try more this year.
You're your own butler when you're blistering tomatoes for a quick brekkie in the morning.
That's true. Yeah, when am I my own butler? I don't know. I'm not my own butler when I'm going to sleep with my phone unplugged. I'll say that.
No, that's
I think there's a lot of people in my life who are kind of like trying to get me to be my own butler in some ways, like charging my phone more.
And so they're just ending up being your butler by plugging in your phone.
Well, maybe, or maybe they're just like admonishing my butler the next day for not coming into work the night before. And definitely sometimes when I'm going to bed, I'm like, fuck my butler. I'm going to bed. Like, yeah, my phone is on 8%. Perfect. That will wake me up in the morning.
Do you think your butler has a harder time with the closing shift or the opening shift?
Oh. God, really both.
Your butler's kind of like a midday butler.
A midday. My butler literally is. It's like a midday and like a evening. She's good in the midday and the evening, but no, she really phones. She clocks out early and she gets there late. What about you? Is your butler a morning shift or clocking in or clocking out?
I mean, my butler is just amazing, but yeah, I think the morning maybe is the best, because the other thing that I do that like Donna always makes fun of me for is, I mean, you've seen my blinds, but I don't know if you've clocked how long it takes to like wind them up each morning.
No, I didn't clock that. How long?
I mean,
like
it doesn't
more
take
than a
that
minute?
long. Maybe like a minute to do all three. It's like in order to get it so that the cords aren't like all over the floor getting in the way of stuff, I'm like winding figure eights for a little bit for each one.
Sailing knots.
Yeah.
Maritime mornings with my butler.
I need to have the natural light in the day and I need to have them closed at night, and I can't have the cords on the floor. So my butler knows this.
Yeah, opening the blinds is super butler. Like, it's like, good morning, madam. I think my phrase needs to be my own butler parentheses, so Drew doesn't have to be. He can be my butler sometimes as long as I'm his. It's nice to have someone else as your butler and vice versa. But yeah, I mean, really, my butler has been so bad at the opening shift lately. Like, they haven't been preparing my water or my breakfast or my morning tea. They haven't been
You've been like running out the door for work and the butler's just getting there and you're like, dude.
Literally, where have you been? I'm like eating a piece of plain bread that I didn't have time to toast, and my butler's watching TikToks still in bed. They're like, oh, lunch will be ready for you when you get back, madam. I'm like, there's no time. I've been waiting around for you in bed for an hour and a half and you never showed. And now here I am, greasy hair, late for the bus. Thanks a lot. What do I pay you for?
That's so funny.
Really inspired by this.
Good. I hope that it can inspire all of our listeners.
That's what I had hoped when bringing it up, is that it would resonate with you as something missing.
This is for you.
Yeah, that's actually not my scene.
Okay, so what's your scene?
My scene is boy throb. Throbbers rise. Oh my God. I brought this up to you. My friend Mitty texted me about boy throb. Shout out another scenester sister, Mitty. And I feel like maybe I'm kind of late to this. I found out about it after they had quite a few followers already. Boy Throb is the latest boy band. It seems like they're mainly using Instagram and TikTok for their marketing. And it's comprised of 2 people I had seen before. Have you taken a look at the members? Were any of them familiar to you?
None of them were familiar to me.
Okay. So there's Evan Papier. I don't know how you say it. Evan, I recognize. He is like a TikToker. He's come across my desk in the past. He's like a brown-haired boy. And then
he's the gay one, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then there's Zachary Sobania. I don't know. I'm going to stop saying their last names because I don't know how to pronounce any of these last names. There's Zach. And I also recognize him. He's like tall and lanky and thin. And I'm pretty sure I've seen him on TikTok too. He looks a little bit like that guy who can do like 100% accuracy, like, let me know. You know that guy?
No, I only know you imitating that guy.
Okay, I'm doing like 40% accuracy, but he's really good. Anyway, Zach isn't that guy, but for a moment I thought he was. And I don't know what either of these TikTokers were doing before Boy Throb. I just recognize them. And then there's this guy, Anthony, who, this is really fun lore. Well, I'll get to that in a sec. I didn't recognize Anthony before, but he's definitely doing a lot of the singing. And then Darshan.
Is Anthony the blonde one?
Anthony's the blonde one, and Darshan is in India. And the rest of the Boy Throb members are in a house in Los Angeles. And they all wear these pink jumpsuits. And they have started this viral social media marketing campaign to get to 1 million followers so that they can get a visa for Darshan to come to Los Angeles so that they can like really have the band together and pursue success and win a Grammy. And
they have 1 million on TikTok now.
Wow. Congrats to Boy Throb.
Darshan is still in India.
Yeah. So there's this other band called the Shadow Baddies. There's another band called the Shadow Baddies. They have way less followers, but they are a Boy Throb like op band. They're like writing diss tracks. Wow. And a lot of their songs are like, you're at 100 mil, like where is Darshan? Like you said, when you got to 100 or 1 million, like we'd get Darshan here, but he's not here, which is really more of a dig at like, you know, the justice system and the immigration process. Yeah, and theirs are pretty funny too. It's like, no broke boys, where's Darshan? Whatever.
That's funny. I like that.
I would say both. They have another one that's like, the only Grammy you've got is the mom of your dad or something. I would say both bands are like really good at kind of putting different words to the beat of songs that we already know and love. And I just find them really funny, and I'm a fan. I love any boy band, so I'm down with this one that has a little bit of joke to it. But what I think is interesting is Boythrob has me thinking about the power of doing stuff as a joke online and how successful it can be, because like they have so many followers now, like 1 million followers like you said, and they have a single out on Spotify that has like 800,000 plays that is pretty good. I've listened to it a few times, and whatever happens with Boythrob, like it seems like they have a pretty established group of throbbers and they can make some money off of this, I'm sure. And it reminds me of DJ Mandy, that girl who like started
Yes,
making DJ
totally.
videos as a joke. Like the drop would just be this like horrible like use of the Wii sound or whatever. But now she's like a real DJ and is like
Yeah.
playing things and like doing concerts, places where people are paying money for. So I hope that Boythrob can reach DJ Mandy levels of success or greater. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a little bit looking into them and thinking about them since I was anticipating us maybe doing a full episode about them. And like my initial reaction when you said this is the new boy band, and I was like, well, it's like a joke though. Just even the name being Boy Throb, that's not a real boy band name. Like
Do you
that's
know how
so
they got
like
their name?
how.
And this is also a funny story. They made a video being like, we're in the new boy band. Like, whichever comment gets the most likes, we will make it our name as long as it's not like crass or rude or something. And the comment that got the most likes was Epstein's Angels. And they were like, yeah, we can't do that. They didn't say it was crass or rude, but they had their immigration attorney say that it would not bode well for Darshan's visa to be named Epstein's Angels. And so they changed it. The second most liked comment was Boythrob. And it's funny because they were like, while we're not super excited about this, like we stick to our word and our name is Boythrob.
That's so funny.
It's so funny because I think it's like a great, I mean, it's obviously a joke, but it's like a really funny name. And I think it kind of rolls off the tongue. And I love like throbbers for the fans.
That is funny. It's also like a bit suggestive.
Yeah. Which is like all boy bands have an undercurrent of something a bit suggestive, I think, to be
Yeah,
truly
but it's not
successful.
like girls are actually like throbbing for them.
Yeah.
So okay, I feel like that's one thing that makes them different from a typical boy band. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is normally boy bands are very like machine created. Like
Mm-hmm.
Simon Cowell put them together or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really have control over what they're doing. So they're from scratch.
You wonder, like, that's such a good point because I don't know. They seem like they're not machine created, but also like their first, if you go back, like their very first video has like 1 million views. And it is like a very high quality output they're putting out, I feel. So I don't know. Like maybe they're
But
actually
not in the
funded by
way.
Andreessen Horowitz.
I was reading some interviews with them and they're all like, no, like this is really real. Like this is our dream.
Right.
And then I was like, what is really the difference? Because in the end, it's the same goal. Like they want to be famous.
Right. Like just
And
because they're not necessarily looksmaxxing doesn't mean they're not trying to do this seriously.
yeah, and I guess what does serious mean? Like clearly they want to put out songs and get a lot of views. Their approach is just a little bit
Sillier.
unconventional.
No, I mean, I do think it's interesting. It's like a joke, but like you said, like at what point is it kind of not?
Like it's like the same. Like
It's the
a
same.
boy, like because I was like, this is such a grift. Like they're just using this Darshan thing and like to get views. But I'm like, it's always kind of a grift. Like it's always like they're using something just to get views, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get views, even if it's a Simon Cowell created boy band.
Totally. Like anyone who's successful on America's Got Talent or the X Factor is going to go up there and be like, my mom has like
Yeah.
mesothelioma. And so I want to do this. And in this case, it's just that we have to get Darshan from India to the United States. Like,
Yeah. But I'm also like the fact that you needed to find this person from India, like you definitely more easily could have just found a random person in California to be in
right.
your
Like, I would love to
band.
know how they met. Like, I want to know how all of them met each other.
Well,
We should have
apparently two
Boythrob
of
on the
them,
pod. Sorry,
Yes.
yeah, go on.
Apparently, two of them connected because they both auditioned for American Idol and got
Yes, I
cut
wanted to talk about that. Okay,
at the
so
audition. Yeah.
yes, Anthony got rejected and was aired. Apparently, Evan's audition wasn't aired, but he sang E.T. to Katy Perry, which is so funny. So they met like in the hallway after, or
I
like
think online.
online. That's
Like probably the
hilarious.
not aired one reached out to the aired one or something.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Check them out, Boy Throb. They're really fun. I like them. Okay, should we get into it?
Yeah, I'm super excited about this topic. I feel like there's so much to say. So we're
Yeah.
talking about looksmaxxing today. And this topic,
In
go
true
ahead.
millennial form, we're talking about this like probably 1 to 2 years after, maybe 2 to 3 years after it became relevant to Gen
Yeah,
Alpha.
this
But
also feels like one of those like New York Times articles that's explaining to people like what 6'7" is.
totally. What exactly is looksmaxxing and why your tween won't stop doing it?
It reminds me of our very first episode, though, because when we talked about reality shifters, that was also a very teen centric community. It's very, what are the kids up to?
All right. So, what is looksmaxxing, Den?
Okay, so how I understand it is it's the practice of doing everything you can to improve the way you look. But it goes like a bit deeper than that because the cultural ties are like incels, and there's this whole very rigid way to measure what looking good means, which involves like face scoring and scales, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
This might be implied by the use of incel, but it's like definitely something that young men, for the most part, are engaging in, which is, I think, kind of why we have a term for it at all, because to a certain extent, like us ladies have been looks maxing for quite a while
Yeah,
now.
right.
But yeah, and it has like, there's definitely some dark connotations with the alt right, and it's like political, I think, in part because a lot of the like goals and the language used is like very heavily tied up in ideas of misogyny and racism.
Yeah,
So,
and like eugenics.
eugenics, yeah. But yeah, that's, I think you've accurately described looks maxing. And I would also say there's a few other like general buzzwords you hear when people talk about looks maxing. There's like aura maxing, which I think is like trying to get your riz, like your charisma up. And there's soft maxing, which is kind of like looks maxing, but to a lesser extent, more
My
subtly.
understanding is like soft maxing is improving your looks without cosmetic surgery.
Yes. Whereas like hard maxing is like extreme, surgical, sometimes dangerous pursuit of physical perfection. Goes beyond like standard looks maxing.
As part of like Gen Z slang, people just say maxing about a lot of stuff now. Like I'm sure we've said it a bunch on the podcast. Like I don't know, now I'm like struggling to think
You're
of an
like self-care
example.
maxing by being
I'm
your own
like
butler.
caffeine maxing if I'm having like two caffeinated beverages. So
Yeah.
do you think that all originated from looks maxing?
Yeah, I think so. I'm curious about that.
Other
Yeah.
like high level stuff, the trend has existed for at least a decade, but is more newly popular in the last few years. I assume because of TikTok.
TikTok, and also just generally like the rise of like
The alt right boy pipeline.
yeah, like over the past few years as we've seen like a pretty extreme kind of concerning jump in like boys not being all right because of the
The
alt
male
right.
loneliness
The male
epidemic.
loneliness epidemic, exactly. Like it's definitely, it's flourished in the bedrock of the male
Yeah.
loneliness epidemic.
A big inspo for the Looksmaxxers is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Like you'll see lots of ready with me videos that are non-ironically, like frame for frame
Yeah, which is
referencing the
so
first scene of
funny.
American Psycho.
It's like you're so close. Like you almost get it.
Yeah. I read one interview with a Looksmaxxer where he was like, I don't like respect the other stuff he does in the movie. I don't want to kill people and stuff.
It's like that's the whole like.
Yeah. I also just wanted to give just an initial visual for listeners that haven't come across this. The beauty standard for these Looksmaxxing boys is like handsome Squidward, just like really chiseled jaw. I feel like is the primary attribute of the Looksmaxxers.
Yeah, I agree. There's some terms I have never heard of before. Hunter eyes. Have you heard about hunter eyes?
I did come across that, but I don't exactly understand what it means.
Okay, me neither, honestly. And maybe that's because we're women and we're the target, an intended
We're the
target
prey.
of it.
Oh, well, I
We're the
have seen
prey.
doe eyes, so I think that is the other
Oh, yeah,
side of
so
it
true.
for women.
Yes, like doe eye makeup and yeah, totally. Hunter eyes, it's angled toward the nose to create a stare that young women supposedly find irresistible. I don't know though if it means like angled the way that you can angle like a me's eyes by like rotating
I thought it was
the
like
kind
a
of
me's
horizontal line.
eyes. Like
Well,
it's
how are you gonna do that towards the nose? Is it like fox eyes?
well, I feel like a lot of Looksmaxxing is about innate genetic features that you don't really have control over.
Yeah, totally.
Before we go further into it, do you think you are a Looksmaxxer in any way?
Okay, you already brought up Patrick Bateman. I'll say, generally speaking, very aligned with our discussion of being your own butler in some ways. I think that I'm like maybe the opposite of a Patrick Bateman type to the extent that like people can be put on that spectrum. Like we got into this a little bit when we talked about skincare with Lily, but
Yeah.
I'm not really being my own cosmetologist, we could say, or my own, what's the word when you like go somewhere to have a facial done? Yes, be your own esthetician. That's what Patrick
Lily
Bateman would
is.
say. That's what Lily is. Yeah, I'm not
Well,
really doing
I
any of
mean,
that.
but you do some stuff just by being a woman, like
Totally.
getting
Like
your
I would,
hair done, getting your nails done.
yeah. And I
Not
think
that
that
you are
like,
always doing that, but just
but it's
if
been
you're
done
doing that at
before.
all, like that is Looksmaxxing to an extent. It's
Right. Like I'm engaging with the
looksminning.
society. Looksminning. I feel like I have experimented with shortening the tail of my eyebrow before to
Oh,
simulate like a bit of a fox eye thing. This is embarrassing.
it's
That's kind of
vulnerable.
looksmaxxing.
Yeah.
And I sometimes will put ice on my face in the morning.
That is what kind of Looksmaxxing.
The other 3 points I wanted to make on my personal experience with looksmaxxing: one, this isn't something I've really done, but it does remind me a bit. This is something I tried very briefly as a kid. Is like I think every little girl goes through that thing where you like learn that you can kind of pinch your cheeks and bite your lips to have like redder lips and cheeks, which is a very like medieval type of cosmetic, I guess. But some of those things remind me of the things that Looksmaxxers are doing, like these kind of brutalist physical things to change their face.
That's
I also
very
just
like using the plumping lip gloss that is like giving you an allergic reaction, which you can also just do with hot sauce.
I didn't know. I never thought about doing it with hot sauce. That's so funny. You could also just like sunburn your lips. And then one other thing that they do is like they'll chew gum. And I guess I wouldn't say I'm looksmaxing by doing this, but I'm a super anxious gum chewer. Like I really have to monitor myself. If I get a piece of gum in between these jaws, like I'm going to go crazy until I realize like, oh, I've been going crazy on this thing for 12 hours. I will not spit it out and I will chew like crazy. So I think I've engaged in some subconscious looks
Like you're
maxing.
accidentally gonna get a Chad chin from your gum.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing is I think that we engaged in something very akin to a looks maxing online forum together. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, you tell me how if you think you're a looks maxer at
Okay.
all, and then I'll remind you of the shared experience we had.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say that's different from what you said. I feel like I'm pretty far on the other end. Like, as you can
Looks
tell, if
meaning.
you listen to the skincare episode, my routine was extremely minimal.
As you can tell if you look at your den or I, we're not really looksmaxxing.
I feel like when I look at these online things, I'm like, I'm so not this. Like, I really can't be bothered. Even though I am good at being my own butler, like, I'm not going to do like a 12-step thing. But then it's like, does that mean you don't care about how you look at all? Like, obviously, that's not true. Like, it's not like we're putting no effort into our appearance. When you look at this online community, it seems like we're putting no effort compared to these people. But once you go outside and like touch grass, you're like, okay, I actually look cute.
Totally. Also, like, I feel like there's not to like hate on looksmaxxers, but I will. There's something like very. I think that you are really good at caring about your appearance in a more creative way. Like you engage with things that are more external. Like you are being perceived externally and you are caring about that. And you make very cool fashion choices and you do like cool things with your hair. And I feel like
Thanks,
you'll do
Kaya.
interesting makeup in a way that like looksmaxxers would be like, that makeup is like drawing attention away from the mandible. And it's just such a
Yeah,
rigid, it's like a
right.
very
It's like a very specific standard that's not actually the way that like attraction works.
right.
Like it's following this strict rubric, but when I look at the people that like the looksmaxers are saying are the most attractive, it's not necessarily who I would think are the most attractive. And
Totally.
it's
And they
like,
also probably have like really bad personalities.
yeah. And we like a little funk.
Yeah.
But
But maybe in part we can say that we're not really engaging with looksmaxxing tendencies because we have pretty established senses of self. We're not in such a vulnerable mindset for this kind of thing anymore. And that brings me to I realized as I was reflecting today that we actually totally so one thing that people will do on looksmaxxing forums is they'll post photos of themselves and ask how they can be improved and what changes they can make. And they'll like rate parts of the face and stuff like
oh,
that. You know where
okay.
I'm going?
I think
Yarden and I
so.
had this like horrible sleepover one time when we were, I don't know, I feel like we were probably freshmen in high school. Maybe we were in
Uh-huh.
eighth grade.
Somewhere around there.
Very moldable brains at this point. And I'll never forget, we were in a hot tub with six of our closest girlfriends, and we like would engage in this exercise. I think we did this multiple times, but this is the one that I really remember, where we would basically go around body part by body part and say who of us had the best one of that body part. And then it was supposed to be, I guess, a nice thing to hear,
I guess that was supposed to be fun.
but obviously it's not fun when you get like nicest hands or like
Yeah, I wonder whose idea that was. Horrible. Yeah,
horrible.
which,
But there's something inherent there about like kids.
well, I don't think it's like inherent because it is like we live in a society, you know. If we
Right.
just were in the ideal world, I don't know that would be happening, but I
If we were in
do.
the ideal world, we'd just be like slinging shit at each other and like rolling around in the mud and picking our noses.
Exactly. But it does point to the fact that this kind of behavior is not new. And I know my mom's even talked about how her and her sisters would stand in front of the mirror and be like, who has
Totally.
the best boobs, etc.
Mm.
So it's been happening for a long time, but it feels like this online looksmaxxing community is like a very extreme version. And I don't know like what would have happened to us if we'd been exposed to it at a vulnerable
Right.
age.
It's not just like your best friends telling you that you need like a nose job or a copy of Teen Vogue that's making you think that you should get like a perm. It's like the most powerful thing with the force of the entire internet is like trying to convince you to change everything about yourself to be more homogenous and pursue like and sometimes permanent physical changes that like
Yeah.
and like offering you like DIY ways to make those changes to yourself before you're like of an age where you can go get them from a professional.
And like telling you to take certain medications. It's crazy.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about some of the vocabulary used by Looksmaxxers. The other thing I just wanted to say up top is that it's definitely a very online community. I don't think Looksmaxxers are really like meeting up in person. Yeah. It seems very like using online forums and like social media.
Totally.
Done already used my first vocab word out loud, which is subhuman. I guess I don't actually have a formal definition for this, but my understanding is it kind of took me by surprise when I heard it today. And it's like an insult to say that someone is super not looksmaxxing, basically. So I guess like under that definition or the way people are using it, it's like being human is like looksmaxxing is like getting you more aligned with your like true humanity, perhaps.
I actually do have a formal definition. Okay. It's part of the PSL scale.
Tell me about the PSL scale.
Okay. So another big part of looksmaxxing is rating, and it's this on this rubric. PSL stands for the amalgamation of 3 defunct forums. PUA hate, which stands for pickup artist hate, slut hate, and lookism.
And not pumpkin spice latte.
Not pumpkin spice latte. And all of, or at least a couple of these forums, I think all of them have been linked to really bad stuff. And I think
slut hate has been linked to bad stuff.
One of them, I think someone from PUA hate was a shooter, and so it got some more prominence that way. Bad places, but none of these forums exist anymore, and now we just have looksmaxxing. There's not a total consensus on the scale, but on looksmaxx.org, which is so funny that it's a .org, it looks like an educational website. Like under looksmaxx.org, it says aesthetics matter. They list a scale which seems like kind of official. So it goes up to 8, which is a little confusing.
That is confusing.
It says, because a facial rating of 10 or even 9 doesn't exist, the PSL scale only ranges up to 8, with 4 serving as the midpoint. To determine an individual's real-life rating score, you can utilize their PSL score and simply add to it approximately 1.5 to 1.75 points. So there's a conversion formula.
Okay, incredibly frustrating.
PSL scale to like regular rating.
Just sticking to the science and not compromising their scale to fit in with the usual 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's like they're using like the standard and everyone else is using metric. So the highest is, if you're in the range of 7.75 to 8, for a male, it's a Tara Chad, and for a female, it's a Tara Stacy. Although I've also seen it in other places as a true Adam or a true Eve.
Oh, I've never heard the term Stacy to refer. Yeah, I had no idea that's a female Chad. Interesting.
This top tier is supposed to basically be unachievable, like it's only gods, essentially. The rarity says 1 in 12 billion.
I'm trying to meet that that Tara Chad or that Tara Stacy.
Oh, it does not roll off the tongue. And so then the next highest is Giga Chad and Giga Stacy.
I've heard of those.
Supposedly more attainable. Like the hottest people, and it's still 1 in 8 million. So it's
there's
like
only a few.
The elite of the modeling world or actors. But like some of the pictures they use, I'm like, this is just a random guy. But of course, yeah.
I mean, you have to leave a shred of hope for all these people. There has to be like a random guy who's a Giga Chad, because
but he like doesn't even look that hot, is what I'm saying.
Does he have really strong facial symmetry?
Yeah, of course. So it's just that. And then it's just Chad and Stacy who are still really hot. It's 1 in 153,000, so still really rare. And then we're still in the super rare land. So then we have Chad Light and Stacy Light, which their appearance can potentially launch a modeling career or lead to a substantial following on social media. That's 1 in 4,500. And
so
then,
like Chad Lights and Stacy Lights, I feel like everyone who got pulled to potentially be a part of Popstar Academy, they're all like Stacy Lights.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to
we don't have to
categorize them.
Those minor women, yeah, we don't have to do that.
They're not even because they're minors. I'm just like, I don't want to engage in this.
Okay, yeah. It's just hard. Like, you're saying it, and I'm like, okay.
Well, do you want me to say some of the people that are in them? Like, according to the... Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
So, like, in Chad Light, the only person whose name I know is Liam Hemsworth.
Okay, he does have a pretty wide jaw.
Oh, and Cillian
Murphy?
Yeah, but it's like a young picture.
That's interesting, because I would say he's got a little funk. So I'm surprised that they would say he's a Chad Light.
And then for women, there's Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
And Emily Ratajkowski, which I'm like, I feel like she would be even higher. Well, see, now I'm engaging in it. Ana de Armas and Nina Dobrev.
Yeah. Dude, I saw a video of Nina Dobrev celebrating her 37th birthday this year, and she looks insane.
Damn. That's a Stacy Light. Okay. And then we have high tier normie, and for some reason that's not gender neutral. The female equivalent is high tier Becky.
So all normies are men?
Yeah, I saw someone say that like Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner are often referred to as a high tier normie, high tier Becky couple.
Okay, see, that's crazy, because I feel like Timothy Chalamet totally has funk, and we're putting a lot of weight on his like acting success.
Right, like if you saw him just working at a gas station, would you do a double take?
No, and like I think that he falls into a category of like desirable people that is not part of the looksmaxxing community, which is like the like rat boy trend, like
like it's like the ugly hot,
right? Which like I don't know, maybe I need to see his face with some fucking like golden spiral overlaid on top of it to have a clear mind about this. But I would really assume that they would want him to widen that jaw before he could be considered a norm.
Okay, but this description says often being among the most attractive individuals in a classroom or small workplace setting, which does, I mean, so it's not so crazy. This is 1 in 92. So if Timothy was in your lecture, like you might be like, he's cute.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, and he might be one of the most attractive individuals.
Yeah, maybe. But I think it really depends how he styles
They put Justin
himself.
Bieber in here.
Yeah, I think Justin Bieber's a better one.
They also, for girls, they put Amanda Seyfried, Dua Lipa, Gigi Hadid.
Bro, okay, they are women haters. All of these people are they're not just like hot for your lecture. They're like so hot. It's crazy to say that. Literally,
they use really bad pictures of Gigi Hadid and Dua Lipa. I'm like, this.
Oh yeah, that's okay. The idea that Dua Lipa would just be like, oh, one of the most attractive people in a room. That is looksmaxxing brain being like, I have a chance. That's the incel talking, being like, she's not anything special. No, you're wrong.
Okay, and then we have mid-tier normie and mid-tier Becky, which is just like your average person, which is that's apparently 1 and 2 people. They put John Mulaney in here. And I don't recognize
I do not think
he's
your average person. Once again, get outside and touch grass. Like John Mulaney, I think is hotter than that. Well, yeah.
He's not like, if you met him at a party, you wouldn't be like, he's so hot, but you would be like, he's hotter than most people.
On the eyes.
Yeah. And I don't recognize any of these women. And then there's low tier normie, low tier Becky. That's 1 in
Low tier
7
Beckys are
people.
just like all Victoria's Secret models.
I don't recognize any of these people. For men, I do recognize them. It's Ed Sheeran, Jay-Z, DJ Khaled,
Okay.
Seth Rogen, who looks really good in this lineup.
I think people would probably, although I'm sure he doesn't want this, but I think people would point to Seth Rogen as like someone who has ascended in some ways.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Yes. And then the last category is if you're a 0.25 to 1.5, you're subhuman, which is just horrible. It says revealing their face could genuinely frighten people, and they have almost no redeeming facial qualities. But luckily, that's only 1 in 2,000 people.
Okay, well, yeah, I saw the use of the word subhuman in videos where people were like talking shit about people. And I have to say that, like, the use of the word subhuman and then also the way that these people use the word mandible, like it's like a normal word to use.
What is that?
The mandible, it's like an anatomical, it's like your mandible is your jaw. It's like the lower jaw. And they like use it in a way that is like really brings to mind phrenology. Like I can't hear the word mandible without being like racist pseudoscience. What is happening? And it's just very concerning the way that they're like talking about the human body. Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying. But yeah, phrenology is so back and it's being championed by Giga Chads and Tara Staceys.
God. Do you want to do a term?
Yeah, well, we can do ascended. Ascended basically just like describes someone who has looksmaxxed. Like you can talk about ascending, and that's like the process, like you're doing things to ascend. Once again, like very concerning connotations. Like I feel like it's giving white nationalist, Nazi. Anyways, ascended is like the process. It's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to become ascended. It's kind of like
it's a verb, right? Like I'm trying to ascend.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then there's also descended, which is when you get worse looking.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Want to do a term?
Yeah. Okay. Just related to the PSL scale, people use the term sub 5 a lot, which means you're under a 5, which like on this scale, it's not even that bad, but that's just become shorthand for calling people ugly on
So like is Dua Lipa a sub 5? Or if you're the hottest person in a classroom, you're not sub 5?
You're 4.5 to 5.5, so you're like right there.
I would love to be sub 5.
Yeah. Do you have any others?
Yeah, I do. We already talked about hard maxing, but maybe we can talk about some of the things people do to hard max. So hard maxing is like the surgical, dangerous pursuit of physical perfection. And so this goes beyond standard looksmaxxing, which would involve like grooming yourself in a way, like using skincare products, exercising. Hard maxing includes things like bone smashing. Have you heard about bone smashing?
No.
Okay, this is what actually so someone sent me a video of someone bone smashing, which made me text you to say we should do a looksmaxxing episode. It's based on this idea that if you get like micro fractures in bones, it will like they will strengthen and grow back like harder. And so people, I don't know like
it's like microneedling. It's like
it is
breaking
totally
it to make it better. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if people are actually bone smashing. I can't really tell because it's so hard to tell like what's real and what's not in a lot of this community. But basically they like take hammers or whatever and they just hit their cheekbones and basically like injuring your cheekbones with the idea that you're going to create micro fractures and then your cheekbones will come back like harder and more defined and like you're like creating scar tissue almost. But
damn, that's
horrible. Really scary. Other forms of hard maxing, limb lengthening, which discussed in the Materialists, like getting like leg lengthening surgery, implants. Like I feel like people are getting implants in their face and stuff. steroid abuse, or like extreme dieting for physical enhancements. Another vocab word?
Mogging.
So funny.
This is when you're showing up and looking better than everyone, right?
And specifically, it's the art of intentionally standing next to a less attractive person in order to make yourself look hot. But you can also mog without being intentional about it. Like someone could be like, you're mogging them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you didn't mean to. Yeah. Sigma. Have you heard about Sigma? Mm-hmm. Okay. I did a little bit of a deep dive into this one. So a far-right activist named Theodore Robert Beale, who's very racist and misogynistic, and he writes under the alias Vox Day, came up with the term Sigma in the context of like incel culture and looksmaxxing in 2010. So it's been around for a long time. Obviously, Sigma as like a Greek alphabet letter has been around longer, but in this context, basically he like laid out this hierarchy of people and like men specifically. So he said that alphas are authoritarian, hypermasculine elite that are unfailingly confident and a trophy partner for the opposite sex. So then if you think about alphas as like the CEOs of the world, betas are middle management. They're like successful enough, but they're not the ones in charge. They're betas. I mean, some of this is like pretty, you know, you get
intuitive.
it. Mm-hmm. Deltas and gammas make up the two lower levels of male mediocrity, while lambdas, gay men, lambdas are gay men. I feel like this whole thing is also like incredibly homophobic and like super heteronormative. The omega tier encompasses a pool of, quote, abject losers. So lambdas are above omegas.
Wait, but what's Sigma?
Sigmas, I'm so glad you asked, are the, quote, lone wolves. So this is the persona that Vox Day, Theodore Robert Beale, claims for himself, which is like so funny to make up this whole thing and then be like, and then I'm not even in this scale. I'm a Sigma. It's very like, I'm giving everyone roles in like a play and then I'm going to do this other crazy thing. And in a follow-up, I'm not like other girls. In a follow-up post, he elaborated the outsiders who don't play the social game and manage to win at it anyhow, who are able to score a, quote, tier 1 girl without the aggro posturing of the Chad/alpha bro. Sigmas often like women, but also tend to be contemptuous of them, he added. I feel like that's very Nick Fuentes, but Sigmas are like outside of the scale altogether. And yeah, I mean, like you can think of a Sigma male. It's almost trying to be the romantic object of so much of book talk and like.
Yeah, it's like I'm the moody, dark, like the mysterious. I'm the Connor. What's his name?
Conrad.
Conrad. I'm the Conrad.
Right. A Sigma male
Rob
is a bad
Rosh.
boy. I'm the Rob Raj. Yes, he doesn't need other people's advice. He doesn't follow the rules, and he's even more sexist than an alpha male.
Oh,
so that's Sigmas. It's a good thing. Sigmas are like, I think Looksmaxxers are like really trying to be Sigmas, because basically, if everyone is an alpha, then it's like whatever, you know?
Right. It's just funny because if the definition of a Sigma is like doesn't play the game, but then it's like they're playing the game so hard.
Right. They're game maxing, and Sigmas like aren't even. Sigmas have walked away from the game. They're like, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm throwing
you
my
can
cards
never
on the
try
ground.
to be a Sigma.
Totally.
Yeah.
So maybe Looksmaxxers are just they're just trying to get to like alpha or like beta.
No, but
or
they
delta
talk
or
about
gamma.
Sigma face. Like I've seen that. So I guess they're trying to look like a Sigma.
They're trying to look like them, but I don't think that you can be one. Or maybe you can ascend and then you have to stop playing the game. Like you become Sigma and then you're like, I don't even have to take my chemicals anymore.
Ascend is giving become enlightened. Like you're like trying to
become one of the 12 billion or whatever.
It's like once you reach nirvana, that's you.
Buddha was such a Sigma. Yeah, like the main Sigmas are like Buddha, Allah.
Well, they are saying that. They're like Adonis or Apollo, as well as religious icons such as angels or prophets.
Adonis or Apollo is goofy as fuck. Like, you
is
don't
a
know
Tara Chad.
So stupid. Okay. That was my last vocab word, other than mewing.
Yeah, so you want to talk about mewing?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I went down like a rabbit hole with mewing. I think a lot of people know what mewing is, but I didn't know the history of it at all, and it's pretty interesting, so I want to talk about this for a little bit. Mewing is a viral facial posture trend where you rest your tongue against the roof of your mouth with your lips sealed and your teeth gently touching to allegedly sharpen your jawline, improve your facial structure, and aid breathing. This was pretty popular a few years ago. I feel like people started talking about mewing, and I think it's popular enough that it definitely left the looksmaxxing community and was just something that like people were trying to do. And also it's like kind of a joke, like people will like mew to mog on someone,
or they want, isn't there a thing where the kids will be like, if someone asks them a question, they'll like shake their head and point at their face to be like, funny. No, I'm mewing. Like, I can't answer right now.
I didn't know that, but it's really funny.
I think I've seen that from teachers, like on TikTok.
That's, oh my God. Bless the teachers. That's insane.
So wait, is the mewing supposed to be like, it just makes your jaw look better while you're doing it? Or is it supposed to be like long term, it's making your jaw look better?
Thank you for asking. It's supposed to be long term.
It's like doing kegels.
Yeah. Facial kegels. Okay, so mewing was named for Mike Mew. Did you know that?
No.
I always thought it was like a reference to meowing or like mew mew, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But
a reference to Mew Mew.
Yeah, a reference to Mew Mew. So it was named for Mike Mew, a controversial British orthodontist with a strikingly square jaw. So the tale begins with his father, John Mew. John Mew like eschewed traditional medical wisdom in the 90s, and he had this whole theory that traditional orthodontics was fundamentally flawed and that braces were designed to pull the lower jaw forward to meet the top jaw, which was like this one-size-fits-all solution to crooked teeth that was not effective. And he also believed that braces ignored a much bigger problem, which was that sometime in the last 200 years, the human skull changed for the worse. He blames the invention of processed foods, which made chewing much easier, which I feel like that's so RFK Jr., like Maha, to be like processed foods have like negatively impacted our jaws. Like, I'm already getting weary. And he said that because of all of this, our skulls no longer had room for all 32 teeth, which led to a rise in sleep apnea, wonky smiles, and ugly faces. He created this technique called orthotropics, which begins earlier than traditional orthodontics and involves installing a device in the mouth that makes more room for the teeth while also opening up your airways. And he experimented on his own children with this. There's an A24 documentary about it called Open Wide, which I haven't watched yet, but I'm kind of interested. It also sounds like sad and scary though. And there are no scientific studies on orthotropics or whether it works at all, but it like puts forward his son Mike Mew's face as the proof that one needs to believe that it's effective. And there's a lot of side-by-sides of John Mew's face next to Mike's because John had a pretty weak jaw and Mike has a pretty Chad jaw.
So his Mike Mew is a Chad or a Chad light or something.
Yeah, I won't say where he lands. I looked him up and he wasn't like as like handsome Squidward as I expected, but he does have a very strong jaw. So yeah, kind of. Yeah, and so Mike Mew now, he's like very popular on YouTube and stuff, and he basically promises viewers that you can have his jawline with practice, and all you have to do is like mew for hours every day. And it's worth noting that his dad, John, lost his medical license in 2017 after being found guilty of making unsupported claims. And Mike has been like involved in his own litigation. And all this stuff, and he has to drop his practice. And the
Yeah.
American Association of Orthodontists have been like, there's no support for mewing as jawline sculpting in any meaningful way. The other thing is, it seems like even in the looksmaxxing community, there's definitely debate at whether mewing can have any kind of like long-term effect unless your oral posture is corrected at a very young age. Like, even if you subscribe to orthotropics, like that has to happen when you're like a kid.
I feel like these same people that are want to do this or want people to do this oppose like gender affirming care for kids. And it's like, you are doing gender affirming
totally
stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's yeah, if your gender is male, all of this is about trying to be as in line with like the most masculine version of yourself that you like. I've seen language around like being as masculine as you were theoretically born to be, and like getting back to that like pure masculinity, which is like, yeah, a really fucked up version of gender affirming care.
Also, like, just in relation to like people claiming whether mewing works or doesn't work, like I feel like I've seen a lot of TikToks where it'll be like a transformational video and it'll be like, they say looksmaxxing doesn't work, and then it's like them looking so much better, but
they're just like
it's always
4 years older.
They're just growing up. Like, it's like literally just them being 14 in the first video and then being like 18 in the second. Yeah, like a lot's gonna change. Like, you're gonna probably have a lot less acne at like 22 than you did at 15.
Right. I'm sorry to break it to you. You didn't need to be mewing. Either way, this probably would have happened to you. Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
It's also, I feel like we're in a weird time where there's been like a hyperfixation on like mouth stuff lately, like mewing. And then also, I feel like mouth tape as okay, Drew uses mouth tape for snoring, and it is effective. It like helps with snoring, but there was also like a whole beauty trend thing with mouth tape where people were saying like mouth tape could be like the cure to so many things. I feel
my God,
like
I know.
And Mike Mew has said himself that he thinks orthotropics not only can make you better looking and reduce sleep apnea, he also thinks it can raise your IQ by 10 points. Well, I don't know what he would say, if it's like you sleep better, or maybe it's just pure like bullshit, whatever. But, and like mouth tape, people were saying that too. Like, if you don't breathe out of your mouth while you're sleeping, like you will ascend, essentially.
Right. Yeah. Ugh, it's such bullshit.
It's very weird. I'm sure that there will be something different in a few years where it'll be like, use earplugs and like your brain will be able to like process like, your day.
The information is leaking out of your ears.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, so that's the deal with mewing. I had no idea, and I just was like, whoa, that's crazy. And we can post a photo of Mike Mew in the photo dump. Should we talk about some famous looksmaxxers? Oh, yeah, some communities.
Some online forums and communities, yeah. Okay, so I looked at a bunch of subreddits. I looked at r/how to looksmax, r/looksmaxxing advice, and r/true rate me.
Ugh, literally us in the hot tub.
Literally. So r/how to looksmax people posting their faces and asking what's wrong with them and what to do, which I'm just like, this is such a humiliation ritual. Like, why would you want to do this?
Especially to an audience of Reddit users. Like, I have seen this trend leak into TikTok and Instagram, and sometimes the comments aren't so bad. It'll be like, you're beautiful, girly. Like, maybe just try lightening up on the brow pencil or something. But that's not what's happening on True Rate Me, I would assume.
This does harken back to the days of, what was the Facebook thing? It was like LMS for a rate. People would do that.
Like my status for a rate, for any of our Gen Alpha listeners who don't know what that is.
Yeah, but you literally have to add a flare for when you don't want cosmetic surgery advice, which I thought was crazy. I didn't look at a ton of posts on here, but I was surprised that people were nicer than I expected. Like, I saw this one girl who was 16, and people were basically like, you'll grow into your features. And I was also surprised to see that there were like a lot of really like conventionally attractive people, especially women on there. I'm like, damn, y'all don't need this. I mean, no one does.
I also saw a good amount of people who had clearly already had work done, which is kind of sad. Like a lot of people with nose jobs asking for advice.
They're like, I've already done this. Like, what else can I do?
Yeah, sad.
Yeah. And I don't really get the difference between that and r/looksmaxxing advice. But people are just like saying things where I'm like, what does this even mean? Like the most beautiful woman ever is saying, do I have a recessed maxilla?
Don't know what that is. Don't want to know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm sure I do. If you have to ask, you do.
So then, actually, this is the one that was the largest subreddit with 291,000 members, r/true rate me. I guess because it's not specifically calling out, like it's not specifically about looksmaxxing, but it really is because it's based on very specific criteria. And it's funny because people even point out in the comments when they're rating people, like this one says 5.8, but as others have pointed out, the rating system here is not the same as the do you find me attractive system. I think that 90% of men or women would find you attractive. This is what they said for someone they gave a 5.8. And so it's like, okay, well, why are we doing this? Like, you are in a
Isn't
cage
it all
of your
about
own
attractiveness?
making.
Totally.
But
yourself.
like they're recognizing like the truth, which is like you can follow this rubric, but that's not the same as like whether you're attractive.
And
because
is
it's
the
not
rubric PSL?
Something similar, but it's like all of these like criteria, like are your features are your features symmetric? Like, do they work in harmony together? All this stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Bro, do my features work in harmony? How do I ascend?
How do I ascend?
Okay, scary. Yeah, there's also a forum called forum.looksmaxxing.com, which is self-described as the #1 looksmaxxing community with 60,000 plus members, and it just has a ton of forums. There's like introduce yourself, there's general discussion of looksmaxxing, there's a place to get ratings, and then there's niche forums which include things like female looksmaxxing, life maxing, and then just like straight up mewing. The most recent
maxing is just being your own butler.
Literally, yes. How to improve all aspects of life beyond appearance. Because they do talk about this a lot. Like famous looksmaxxers will talk about how they are like status maxing. Like they're very much like, I think part of this like route to incel is like you also have to have a lot of money to get attention from women, and you have to have a successful job and all of these things that are like, reasons that people are mad to begin with. They feel like they don't have.
Well, I saw that too as part of the conversion from the 8-point scale to the 10-point is like you add points based on those other factors.
Yeah, like how rich you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's one place. And then there's also Mogwarts, which is Mogwarts Academy, a school of looksmaxxing and profound self-improvement.
Are you tired of feeling overlooked, undervalued, and in need of some actual guidance towards becoming the best version of yourself? Trust me, I've been in your exact same shoes countless times. You'll want to pay close attention to what I'm about to share with you. Most of you might be wondering whether looks, status, money, social recognition actually play a role. And if they matter, let's face it, the answer is pretty obvious.
I can't tell how many people are actually engaging with Mogwarts, but the founder of Mogwarts, Kareem Shami.
Oh, yeah, I read about him.
A very prolific looksmaxxer. So he has like millions of followers on TikTok and is a beauty influencer. And so he runs Mogwarts as this like subscription-based site where
I thought it was so funny. The call to action on the website is ascend now.
Scary. This stuff like really starts to freak me out if I think
it really
too much
darks
about
me
it.
out. Yeah.
Kareem has a really crazy background. Him and his family fled the civil war in Syria and then landed in Beirut, where he was teased for his light skin. And then he basically began this like relentless transformation, which involved things including mewing to ascend. And his TikTok and Instagram username is Syrian Psycho, because he's like very influenced by Patrick Bateman and American Psycho. So yeah, that is like Mogwarts is somewhere where you could take a Looksmaxxing 101 course, and that's where I heard about the term hunter eyes and how you can potentially achieve them.
You were getting schooled at Mogwarts. You were auditing a class.
In my retirement. And then on the Looksmaxxing forum.looksmaxxing, there's just like some really funny posts, like just at a very high level, like one called potential breakthrough into lip growth. And the whole thing is about like using an estrogen based cream to like direct hormones just to the place where you're putting them, which in this case, it's like if you put this estrogen based cream on your lips, you can get like fuller lips, which it's so funny because all of this stuff is like being promoted by these people who are like so afraid of being perceived as gay and are so homophobic and so misogynistic, and yet they're saying to put like an estrogen cream on your lips so that you can
like, or ascend. Like there will be posts that are like best makeup for men.
Yeah, totally. And like Botox is like a thing.
Rhinoplasties, they're way more into skincare. It's like, yeah, a lot of things that were typically thought of as feminine, but in the pursuit of looking more masculine.
There's another post in the forum. Someone just said, I hate Marlin glazers so much. I had to look up what a glazer is again because Fran had told me, but I forgot. Glazing is basically just like riding for someone no matter what. Like, you're like glazing.
Stop glazing me, bro.
So this person says, I hate Marlin glazers so much. And then the post continues, every time I open up TikTok and see a niche Looksmaxxing creator, there is always someone in the comments talking about Marlin. I'm so done with the glaze. Marlin's side profile is one of the worst. He doesn't even look that good. He gets glazed for his height and status maxing. Only if he was 5 feet, he would be a rope maxed. So maybe we can try to break this down.
None of these words were in the Bible.
Marlin is one of the like famous Looksmaxxers. So he must be rich and like a model and stuff. But if he was 5 feet tall, if he didn't have his height, he would be a rope maxed. I haven't heard the term rope maxed before.
It's also confusing because I'm like, is height a part of it or not?
Rope maxing is really bad. I shouldn't have even said it.
Is it like racist?
No, it's a slang reference to suicide by hanging.
That's so crazy. Like saying someone hung themselves and be like they're rope maxed.
Yeah, we have strayed so far from the light. Yeah, rope maxing isn't a word in the Bible. That's so true, Dan.
But okay, I'm confused though because sometimes it's like Looksmaxxing. I know it's very face focused. Like I think that the Pissel scale is supposed to be like just about face, but then so often I see body brought in. So I'm like, is body a part of it or not?
I think it is. I think probably it's focused on face to an extent because it's like something that's happening on phone screens. And so it's just like face, you know, like a lot of phone stuff is happening up close in general. Like you can't tell how tall someone is. But I do think that it involves body too, because if you talk about like hard maxing, including leg lengthening surgery, right. And definitely there's like working out is like part of it.
Yeah.
But it is confusing.
And second question, what is the...
I don't know. Let's look it up. Doesn't sound good. They
don't want to know.
Okay, well, this is a little concerning because maybe we should just cut this whole part.
Okay.
It seems like it has, on the one hand, it's a old East Slavic term for various Finno-Ugric peoples, particularly those in Estonia, Karelia, and northwestern Russia. But it also, there's a 1984 movie, CHUD, which stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, about mutants that live in the sewers. And so as really, internet
Marlin
slang,
would be that if he was 5 feet. I don't buy
it. Internet slang, a derogatory term for far-right political figures or individuals evolving from the film's title and associated with memes like the Jack, which I assume that's like soy Jack. Oh.
Yeah. I know. You've explained soy Jack to me on here.
So I can't really tell if is like
what they're getting at.
If they're trying to be like racist or just like cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller, but I think that it's probably best to not use it, period. We can add bleeps over me saying it, maybe, and then when I spell it out.
Okay.
That's kind of funny.
That is funny.
Okay, anyway, so that's that.
Oh, just, I guess another thing on the forums where I got the PSL scale, looksmaxx.org, also has a bunch of forums. I was just looking at the rules, and I mean, this is already obvious, but like one of the rules is that you cannot post LGBTQ plus content, which like that kind of, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that you would say it so explicitly.
Wow, yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
Saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah. So that's generally looksmaxxing, I would say. There's one other famous looksmaxxer I wanted to talk about. Have you come across Clavicular's content at all?
I don't think so.
Okay, Clavicular is a famous looksmaxxing TikToker, and Hannah and Tim brought him to my attention because they've been seeing a lot of his content. And in particular, I saw a TikTok video where he's like being interviewed on some Joe Rogan-esque podcast, and it's like a photo of JD Vance next to a photo of Gavin Newsom, and Clavicular talks about how JD Vance is subhuman and says that Newsom is mogging him. Clavicular kind of looks like Nick from Love Island if you need like a visual, but I don't know how much he looked like Nick from Love Island before
like
he
Mamacita Nick.
Like Mamacita Nick, yeah. And he just does all this crazy stuff online. Like he had some girl who was affiliated with him who would sit right behind his shoulder when he's in his like streaming gamer chair. And I saw this video of him like giving her Aqualix injections on a stream. And I'm assuming Aqualix is like some kind of filler or something. Oh. Really scary.
Like he's a feeder, but for filler.
Yeah, yes. And like now he's at least like somewhat ascended, it seems like. And now there's all these videos of him like at parties that really seem not fun, where he's trying to pick up women and they're not interested in him. Because although he has ascended in some ways, he definitely is not status maxing. And I don't think he would be considered a Sigma, because he seems like he's like trying very hard. Actually, he kind of is like not trying in these dialogues. Like he'll just be like, why don't we go hook up right now? And then the girl is like, you don't seem like a gentleman. And he's like, I don't need to be a gentleman, which is maybe kind of what he thinks Sigma is. But he's a very prolific looksmaxxer. And talking about Clavicular with Hannah and Tim, I thought they both had really good points on looksmaxxing. So I wanted to share their takes and see if you agree. Okay, so Tim's take is that looksmaxxing gives misogynistic boys the language and space to engage in behaviors that would otherwise be considered feminine, which I think is like very true and kind of what we've discussed. It's like, I'm not doing my skincare routine. That's gay. I'm looksmaxxing my skin so that I can mog on my haters.
Yes.
Sure. This is Clavicular. And here's some audio of him rating Marlon's looks.
What would you rate Marlon on a scale from 1 to 10? I would rate Marlon between a 7.5 and an 8 out of 10. So I'd put him right around Chad. Extremely good looking, very mogger. So I'd rate him Chad.
What's his like main negative?
His main negative is his mandibular growth, right? So he's got a bit of a recessed mandible. You look at some of the clips of him in motion from the side profile, his chin is slightly recessed. You know, obviously we're being hypercritical just for the objective rating. I think he's better looking than me, so before anyone goes crazy. But it's just like, if we're being hyper analytical, that like these small things take him down a little bit in terms of his points.
So stupid.
I know. Tim also made the great point that like that TikTok song is like the root of everything that's wrong right now. Like, you know, you're gonna hear the worst take of your life when that is playing, and there's like, it's just it sets a very dark tone for the content immediately. And then Hannah sent a voice memo, so I'll just play that.
It's obviously like a subset of incel culture,
but I feel like it's interesting because it's like all these guys that were like ugly little incel dweebs, and they were like, oh, I'm an incel because I'm ugly, so let me looksmax. So then they started looksmaxxing, and now they're like able to be like, well, I'm hot, so the reason I'm an incel is because women are whores. It's not a me problem. It's because women are like gold digging, like dumb whores. That's my take on looksmaxxing.
Very related to slut hate, perhaps.
Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, they're going to find a way to blame women.
Exactly. Yeah. Hot or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree, I think, with both of them. Yeah. It also is just like, we've touched on this, but it is super racist. Like, when I was watching videos, they sent me one of the videos, and it's like how to uncook brown eyes, like basically how to like, and that's just so clearly like Aryan. Right. That's like, okay, we're talking about the Aryan race. We're trying to get back to like blonde, blue eye type looks. Like, this is not good.
No. Oh, I wanted to talk about the women.
Because, yeah.
So obviously this is primarily in these young male spaces, but there are a lot of women and girls that engage in looksmaxxing as well. Like when I search looksmax on my TikTok, like it comes up with all women because it knows that I'm a woman. But I do just like also want to call out that obviously like this behavior is just way more normalized in women. Not the like, let's divide up a face and rate and put everything on a scale part of it. Like that feels very male to me, very male culture. But like women are encouraged to looksmax from a young age in terms of like do everything you can to be as attractive as possible. And it's usually when women do it, it's called self-care. It's not called looksmaxxing.
And it's so funny that it's like interesting how much attention this is getting now as like a phenomenon in the culture, in part because like men are doing it, like it's like a newer thing, but they're doing it in so much more intense ways. Like, it's just so like the fact that there's even discussion about like hitting your cheekbones with a hammer to create microfracture. That's so like boys are doing this now. It's very aggressive.
But I feel like a lot of the women looksmaxxing things are also violent. Like microneedling feels violent to me.
Yeah, totally. And like plastic surgery. But men are just like doing it in a way that's like so
like they're not hiding the fact that it's violent, maybe. Like they like are even emphasizing that part, whereas like a woman doesn't want you to focus on like how dangerous her BBL was.
And like how she got there necessarily. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
No, the gendered aspect of it is like really interesting. And it seems to me like female looksmaxxing, maybe you can explain this to me, but I'm guessing that you're looksmaxxing in line with standards that have been defined by the male looksmaxxing community.
Right. Totally. It's all in the male gaze, whether it's about women or about men. And like this TikTok says, this is to women. Life changes when you start looksmaxxing. We look natural, but we have contacts, double jaw surgery, and are on 10 peaks post-Aqualix.
Aqualix, that's what Clavicular injected into his
and
lady
then
friend.
One of the hashtags is hashtag I am Clavicky.
Clavicky. Oh.
But I feel like also the big viral looksmaxxing thing for women right now is the morning shed. And like how you have to optimize everything. So like while you're sleeping, you're not just resting, you're also improving your hair, your skin, your body. So there's all of these TikToks of women like with like face masks, red light mask, like castor oil like thing over their torso, like lip mask, wrinkle patches, like jaw sling. I don't even know.
Yeah,
what
like the
it's
thing
called.
that people get after they have jaw surgery or buccal fat removal. It looks like taking like a knee brace and putting it on your neck and jaw. And the other thing that's crazy about what morning shed reminds me of is it's like morning shed isn't even that intense necessarily. Like you're not permanently fucking up your body with like chemicals and steroids or whatever, like crazy supplements, but it is like very representative of all of this in the sense that it's sacrificing your long-term health for something that's so visual, because like there's just no way that I believe that these women are sleeping well and getting good sleep with all of this shit on their face and their head. And like that's really bad for you to not sleep. You have to be completely still.
Like, because you're like covered in oils and
I know.
Even
when I just put like a deep cream on my face before going to bed, I like normally stay up for 2 hours because I'm like nervous about rolling over onto my side and getting on my pillowcase, so I don't know how these people are doing this.
Like, I'm procrastinated getting a mouth guard because I also grind because I'm like, I don't want another thing to shed because I already sleep with a bonnet, earplugs, and an eye mask, which feels like a lot.
Right. And like, honestly, if these people were being their own butler, their butler would rip all that shit off so that they could get a good night's sleep. Like, we have gone beyond being your own butler with the morning shed.
But I think these videos, I feel like some of them are just like they've learned that it gets engagement when they're wearing like a million things, and I don't know if they actually sleep with all of that. And then like they go viral because people want to see like the big reveal.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like taking off bandages of a burn victim. That's like essentially what this looks like when people are doing it.
But then the women are like glowy with like perfect heatless curls after.
Right. But they probably curled their hair and then put it in it and like got Botox the week before.
Yeah. Oh, also one more thing on the women's side of things. There's like this cottage industry of subliminal, it's like compilations of like Eves. They're called True Eve Subliminals on YouTube, which are long slideshows of beautiful women set to intense electronic music, which viewers believe can improve your appearance simply by having them on in the background. And the comments are crazy of this one I clicked on. This person said, "My face feels like it's burning legit only 44 seconds in." The next person
this
says,
reminds me of Shifting 2, and that it's like, are you guys all fucking with, like, do any of you actually believe that this is true? Or
I can't tell how much you believe this.
Or this is like one big prank.
The next comment is, "From the first few seconds, my nose started hurting, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw my face had become more beautiful. Thank you, Queen." And then the next comment is, "This works so fast."
Oh my god, they must be fucking with us. We should listen to them and see if we feel anything.
Speaking of that, should I move into where I got a little interactive?
Definitely.
Okay, so I put myself in the humiliation ritual and posted in the Looksmaxxing subreddit.
You did? Oh, Den.
And I only did it like 30 minutes before we started recording, so there's not much engagement yet.
No. Oh my god, I can't believe you did that. That's so...
No, I know.
We have strong psyches, but like I would not do that. I would not.
I do feel like it made me feel good that I'm able to do it. I'm like, I would not have been able to do this if I wasn't. Well, I would say it's somewhat because I'm confident, and it's a lot of it is that I just don't put any credence in the system at all. Like, I saw like the most beautiful women over and over in the forums, and people like rating them like a 4. Okay. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're like, I hope I'm a 4. That would be great.
So they didn't actually give me a number, which is annoying because I tried to post in the True Rate Me and my post got deleted. So then I posted in r/looksmaxxing advice, and the first comment is, "Cute, debloat and work on under eye area." And like, I'll just say too, like, I just posted like I just took a selfie in the bathroom. Like, it's not like the hottest photos of me. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do a straight on, a 3/4, and a profile. That's
that's like totally what they want. Yeah, they just want to see your skull.
Okay, the other, this is very vulnerable. The other comment says, "Shave your mustache, bro." No. Which today looking in the mirror, I was like, oh, it's time to bleach. But I'm just going to take the photo and see what they say. So I wasn't exactly surprised. But it was a
this
little...
This is true commitment to the craft, you guys. No one is putting themselves out there like this. Oh, what does it say?
Okay. God. Okay. Okay. This is so mean. I also posted one full body pic from just like a random fit pic, which is an outfit that like a lot of people would consider ugly. Like, I'm wearing like capris and my Nike tabis.
Okay.
And
yeah, I don't think that tabi shoes are really like for the looksmaxxing community.
No. This person said, your face is objectively attractive. Okay.
Nice.
Your eyebrows are too bushy. You have a mustache. You need to do some waxing on your face. Your hair does not match the rest of you, and you dress absolutely horrendously, like disgustingly. But you have very good bones. It's just whatever you're doing to yourself, ain't it?
They're like, you're descending. You have the potential to be a Stacy Light, but you've descended because of your horrible style.
They don't
Those
understand.
cloven shoes are like doing the opposite. You should be... I mean, they like what? I feel like Looksmaxxers probably engage in like kibby body type. Like, they're like, you're a romantic or whatever. Like, you know, wear a bodycon dress.
No, they do not like the way that the capris are cutting off half of my calf and making me look shorter.
Yeah.
And then something else funny is that I got 8 DMs from people calling me cute and sexy. And
Let's
I'm like,
go.
Okay, love me out loud though. Like, why are you just loving me in secret? The public comments are just shaming my mustache, and the private comments are asking for my Snapchat.
That's a perfect representation of this community. Like, they're like, this scale is not about people finding you attractive. You're so brave to have done this, and
thank you.
Obviously I think you're Gorgina and these Looksmaxxers, you know.
They can take a hike. I also tried the Looksmaxx AI app. I paid $4 for this shit, and it rated me a 6.7, but I think that's out of the 10-point scale. It would be really good if it was out of the 8 point.
That's really good.
But I think it's out of the 10. I think it's out of the 10-point scale, so is what like this other person said. And then it says I'm in the top 25% of women. But I don't believe anything this says, because it says my eyes are hazel.
So like strawberry has 2 R's according to this.
Right.
That's insane that you did that. Wow. You amaze me. I'm just like speechless. Holy shit. Delete that shit.
Yeah,
fast.
You would not like my creative expression.
None of these words are in the Bible, and tabi shoes give Looksmaxxers brain aneurysms.
Yeah, so I would say Looksmaxxing is not my scene.
What a horrifying treat. Yeah, it's not my scene either. You guys need to touch grass and love me out loud. Start loving yourselves and your den out loud, you cowardly little bitches. Maybe a true Sigma will DM you because of this, though.
Oh, God.
No, they're not hanging out on the forums. Very dark. Not our scene. We hope this helped. And if you hear your kid or your little cousin using any of these terms, consider yourself warned and step in.
Although I do think, like you said, like some of the terms have crossed over. Like people are using mewing and mogging as a joke. So maybe don't start freaking out if they use those ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if it seems like they have an eating disorder and want to break their bones.
Hopefully We've given you the tools to ID that. Okay. This has been fun. Right. Not.
Email us at notmyscenepod@gmail.com. Episodes every other Tuesday. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Rate, subscribe, share with your friends.
True, rate us. Bye.
Bye.